Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach on episode 41. And today we are going to talk about Diamondbacks versus Rangers game 2. Lineup of today, um, difference of enough. Jose Fernandez playing DH. I think Nolan Arenado is now up to the more to the top in this lineup as well. But I think that's pretty much it. The rest is kind of the same in a way and stuff. And then Tim Towell actually came in to pitch hit for, I believe, for Perdomo. And that's it. And stuff. Fortunately enough for Tim Towell, it'd be 0 for 0. He just walked in the ninth inning and stuff, so that's that. Again, we're not really getting a lot of hits. There are hits, but just not enough for us to get a lot of runs and stuff. We did get some runs, but fortunately enough, it wasn't enough in a way and stuff. I think that's a really big issue right now is our offense. So that's that. Pitching wise enough, Zach Gallen pitching today. He didn't do so well. And so I don't know what's going on with Zach Gallen. I don't know. It's so weird. Like, he's our ace and he should do better and stuff. But fortunately enough, that's just the way Zach Gallen is, We don't understand what's his issue and what's his problem and stuff. So, he went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, struck out 4, walked 1, and gave up 5 runs. And, to be honest enough, he did good in the beginning and stuff. I think until around I think the 5th inning, pretty much got to him and stuff. That's where it kind of gets a little tired and stuff. So, that's normal of enough because, Brandon Fogg does the same thing and stuff. The Rangers struck pitcher today was Mackenzie Gore. He was really good today and stuff. He went 8 innings, gave up 3 hits, struck out 4, walked once, gave up 1 run and stuff. So fortunately enough, going to 8 innings, that's pretty good. Fortunately enough for Shoemaker to realize enough he wants to rely on his starting pitcher today and stuff. So he went the most of he can, and that was only 8th innings and stuff. So pretty good for him. The crazy thing is I get about Mackenzie Gore. He's a really good pitcher out there. He's one of the highest we can know and stuff. But currently what I know, because when I went to my first time going to the National Park in Washington, D.C. to see the Nationals, Mackenzie Gore was actually the starting pitcher. And I honestly, this is the first time I'm actually hearing him and stuff. So he wasn't really huge back then when he was on the Nationals and stuff. Fortunately, he actually became the ace for the Nationals at the end and stuff, and then coming to the Rangers and stuff. So a good a pitcher for the Rangers have enough to get some good pitchers and stuff. And Mackenzie Gore is just one of them and stuff. And he just was so dominated today. He didn't really give a lot of runs for the Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks didn't do so well against him. Gave him only 3 hits. So that's pretty much of that. Bullpen for the Diamondbacks, Ryan Thompson and Brandon Pfaadt, and that's pretty much it in a way and stuff. Ryan Thompson got a little runs as well in 7, and Brandon Pfaadt kind of eased it off by not getting a lot of runs for the Rangers at the end and stuff. I think that's way enough for Lavello once. Brandon Pfaadt coming in just kind of ease off at the end of not just getting so much run. There's a lot of run, let's keep it at that point so our offense can get back into it and stuff. So that's the way of enough of the game was going from there and stuff. So, Brandon Pfaadt did his job. Ryan Thompson, I understand that. It was hard because, there was runner on base and stuff, and it's tough to coming in and trying to close that out and stuff. But, so, I get it. Pitching was doing so well and stuff, but fortunately enough, it's hard enough where Gallen runners were on, and then Ryan Thompson fortunately let that slide and stuff. So that is that. Scoring wise of enough, I didn't really want to talk about all of the scoring, so I kind of down a low and stuff of what's the most scoring and stuff. So I'm not really going to talk about all the scoring and stuff, but starting off with Jock Peterson, former Diamondbacks, fortunately, went for the first pitch, I believe enough. He was the first batter coming up the lineup for the Rangers, hit a solo home run to make it 1-0 bottom of the first. Vargas also hit a solo home run, tied the game up in the top of the second. Isguel Duran, hopefully I said that right, also hit a solo home run to make it 3-1 bottom of the fourth, and then he also hit a RBI single to make it 5-1 bottom of the fifth. Gerardo Osuna made got a RBI single to make it 6-1 in the bottom of the fifth, and then Jake Berger hit a RBI single to make it 7-1 bottom of the fifth. And then fortunately enough for the Diamondbacks, did get a little bit runs in the ninth inning, but it was not enough. So fortunately they lost today. The final score was 4-7. Our now record is 20-21. And so now we are one low of 500. So it's tough to take the loss right now and stuff. Fortunately enough, the series is not over, so that's that. Progress. I just thinking our offense just need to get better. We can't wait till the end and stuff. I thought enough we were gonna have a big chance and stuff, because Jose Fernandez was the last batter and stuff, and I was thinking we could have a good chance enough of getting a base hit, and then having Ryan Wolfsmith coming in and stuff because he got a base hit today and stuff. So I was hoping enough of seeing his first career home run against the Rangers or some ways and stuff. He's gonna get it soon or later and stuff. He's not really like a power hitter guy and stuff, but I would love to see that from him. He was very close yesterday as well, but fortunately enough, I was going to expect enough for him to come in and try to tie the game up or get some more runs in the ninth inning, but fortunately it just didn't really happen and stuff. So a lot of struggling enough for the offense, just cannot get anything. One run is not going to get nothing and stuff because the other team is going to get more and stuff. So I get it about yesterday, it was just a 1-0 game and stuff, but again, we're scoring one game and stuff, and to me enough, that's not a lot of runs just to start with. I get it, we tied the game up with Vargas solo home run and stuff, yeah, that's cool, but they also came back as well. The other thing enough of, I don't think they should deserve a couple runs either and stuff because I totally understand that. Fair enough for them to get a base hits in here and there and stuff. Were pretty bad in this game as well and stuff because I thinking Duran came up to the plate and he's supposed to be strikeout and stuff, but fortunately didn't happen because he got walked instead and stuff. So for him to go to a run and for that run shouldn't really happen in a way and stuff, but and then also, there's also sac flies and field choice and stuff. I totally understand of these typical things. Same thing with the Diamondbacks, what they were trying to do, trying to come back and stuff, because they were trying to do the same thing. There was a couple like forced out, sack flies here and there and stuff, trying to just keep it going, get some runs and stuff. So, fortunately enough, just not a whole lot to it. So like here and there enough of just like, yeah, we didn't deserve to win, but we didn't deserve to give a lot of runs away and stuff. So, but that's pretty much of that in a way. So, and then pitching, I think the most biggest one is probably Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's not doing so well, so he needs to get back into the rotation to do good and stuff, because I think he's the only one that's not doing so well at this point and stuff. Like could we just like, I don't know. Like, are we going to switch Brandon Pfaadt for Zach Gallen in a way? Like, let's put Zach Gallen in the bullpen instead, and then bring Brandon Pfaadt in the starting pitching and stuff. Like, who knows? Like, that if this is the only way enough of if we can help the team as startings and bullpen and stuff, I might do that and stuff if I would take over and stuff. But it's just like, I don't know. Like, if I would talk to Zach Gallen, just like, you need to understand enough of you're the ace, you got to do better in a way and stuff. Like, I know it's going to be harsh in a way, but like, it's the truth in a way. Like, you're the ace, like other people like Rodriguez and Ahsoka and Kelly are all, even Nelson, like, we're all doing good at this time. Like, I know, understand, like, we have here and there and stuff, and we got a little hit off and stuff. We had a bad start with the White Sox and the Brewers and the Cubs, like all these things. Those are in the past now. Like, let's move forward to this point of enough of like okay. Like, so for us, because our biggest problem way before at those teams and stuff was a lot of times the starting pitchers keep giving up runs so early in the game, and it was so hard for our offense to have a comeback and try to win games and stuff. Where enough of now the pitching is doing so much well and stuff, and our offense is still going downhill at this point and stuff, and still not helping and at this point and stuff, because it's not showing. The offense is not showing at all of anything and stuff. So now we're going back to enough of pitching, of starting pitching going terrible. We don't need this. We really don't need this. Bullpen is doing so well at this point and stuff. And then fortunately enough for you to give up 5 runs in 5 innings and stuff, it's not good enough in a way and stuff. Like, I get it, Ryan Thompson, but those are your runners as well. Like, totally understand that in a way. And it was a hard point of view for Ryan Thompson and stuff. You just didn't do the job enough. So, fortunately for our ace, you gotta understand, you gotta step up to the mound and do better in a way. I don't want to be harsh as Zach Gallen and stuff, but like, we gotta understand enough of, we want wins. We want the hard work and wins and all these typical things and stuff. Like, I get it about being harsh or anything. I'm not trying to like, oh, like, you suck so bad, we don't need you anymore and stuff. Like, I get enough of, there's times enough we're gonna have bad days or good days, but we're getting in this point enough of, like, we want to improve more than enough of other teams at this time. And so we had a good time enough to get back up. We don't want to be in the 500 range of enough. We want to go up and stuff. And fortunately for you to not help at this point, because we've been having struggles enough with pitching and offense right now, and we're going back into that where enough of we're not doing both. We can have great pitching and stuff and not scoring and stuff. It's just a matter of fact enough of for starting pitching is not also going to help the offense as well. You got to have less runs on the opponent teams, and so our offense can actually go out and do good and stuff. So if fortunately enough, if you give us probably maybe 3 runs in some ways enough, and then fortunately for in a way Ryan Thompson gets out of in the inning and stuff, it'll be maybe 3 runs for the Rangers, and we probably come back and win it as 4-3. Who knows? And stuff those are the biggest things and stuff. Same thing within the top of the second where Duran got a free pass with a walk. Fortunately, he should be a strikeout out on Gallen and stuff, but. It's just those typical things enough for that, if Perdomo totally did that double play where he made they didn't say error because the runner got a single out of it and stuff in the 5th inning and stuff. Fortunately, it didn't help Zach Gallen and stuff. Totally understand that, but it's just I get it about baseball. It's so hard, but if you want to be the best of the best, gotta show you are the best. And if you're the best pitcher on this team as the ace, show you're the ace, because it doesn't look like you're the ace on this team. This is where enough of every single time, I get so much crap from my dad from saying about what is wrong with Zach Gallen at this point, because honestly I have no idea. I wish I can talk to this guy and say, and it's hey, what's going on here, there's typical things where enough of I didn't like from last year with Corbin Burnes and Zach Gallen and stuff, because they keep adding for Zach Gallen to be the ace, where enough our ace is Corbin Burnes, and right now he's injured and stuff. So fortunately enough, he got to get back into that point and stuff, and he just at that point view enough of if he is good or not and stuff. You could say enough yeah, he's hot and cold, but we don't want that anymore and stuff. We don't want to be hot and cold. We want to be on hot. It's just this is where enough of this is so frustration for me in a way to see this team is a 500 average team, and I don't want that. I don't want a 500 team. I don't want to win and lose games and here and there and stuff. I get about other teams here and there for the Rangers or the Cubs or the Dodgers, whatever. I freaking don't care about that way of enough. I care about this team, and I want this team to more improve more ever and stuff. I don't care why enough of the Braves are winning a lot of games. I don't care the Cubs are winning a lot of games. I don't care now of the Padres and the Dodgers are tied for first place in our division. Honestly, I don't care. I care about this team. I want them to prove more and stuff and be the best. Every single player on this team, I want them to play the best of them in a way and stuff, and they're just not showing that at all and stuff. And that's where enough of the competitive from other teams and stuff. I get it, it's a competitive sport and all these typical things, but it's just I get it. Mackenzie Gore did great and stuff, and that was the hard thing about that, but it's just I don't know, it's just something about Gallen is just not performing the way the A's position at stuff, just I'm feeling Eduardo Rodriguez is taking that lead and stuff, and you're losing it and stuff. So that's the most hardest thing to think about of enough of he's just not as the ace we're thinking about and stuff. And that's where enough it's just so hard to see a person does so good in the beginning when he came in for the Diamondbacks in 2019 and stuff, helping the team to go to the World Series in 2023 and stuff, and did okay in the playoffs in the World Series. Yeah, great. We swept the Dodgers. Okay, sure. We did good in the Phillies. Fortunately, half of it and stuff. The World Series, sure. just like, I don't know. The Phillies blew up on you on game one. I guess, like, I get it, we lost game one in the World Series against the Rangers and stuff, but that's on Paul Sewald at his point and stuff. But in game five in the World Series, you had a no-hitter till like the fifth inning or the sixth inning and stuff, and then fortunately enough, giving up 5 runs after that and losing the whole thing for the Rangers to win their first World Series in their organization and stuff. And we can't even make the 6 and 7 game against the Rangers and stuff. So it's just like, I just think he lost the purpose of this position where he's at right now. Like, he is a pitcher, he is a starting pitcher and stuff. I just don't know he is the ace of what we saw before when he came to the Diamondbacks and stuff. Like, I think he lost it and stuff, and who knows, enough he might come back and next time he'll, like, dominate or whatever and stuff. It's just like, there's things where enough, it makes no sense enough of a ace pitcher cannot do well. It's so weird. Like, show your ace, because it's not showing it. He's not. And I'm sorry I got a little ramped off and stuff. Like, I put so much heart in this team and stuff, and I literally want to talk to these guys and stuff. Like, I want to control this whole team. I want this organization. Give it to me. Come on. Because trust me, if I was the manager, oh my goodness, we'll win games. We'll go to the World Series. We'll win the World Series. I can prove that. And if I didn't, then fire me. And if I did, then you proved me wrong. So, get my frustration all out. I just don't like the back and forth here. You gotta understand where I'm coming from and stuff. Like, I give tabs to Mackenzie Gore doing good and stuff, because he is, he was an ace on the Nationals. Now he's not the ace, but he's still a good player. Like, he's a good pitcher in a way. He's going to dominate and stuff. And fortunately enough for Gallen, just not doing that and stuff. Like, be the best of you can show and stuff. And if you're just gonna give away runs and stuff, you're not gonna be the ace the way you are performing. So hopefully enough we win tomorrow. Honestly enough, I think Nelson or Kelly is going to pitch tomorrow and stuff. Hopefully enough. It's kind of interesting enough of, Kelly was just on the Rangers before and stuff. So it's going to be interesting because of, there was a game last year where Gallen was versus Kelly and stuff. And I remember that game because I wanted the Diamondbacks to win that game, and we did, because Ketel Marte came clutch out of a home run to win the game and stuff. But and then fortunately, for Perdomo hitting a home run off of his kid and stuff, just little funny things and stuff. Again, it's kind of like a do or die situation in this time and stuff. Hopefully we win tomorrow so we can win a series and stuff, because if we win, we again being tied for 500 average team and stuff. And then fortunately, if we do lose tomorrow, then we're too low of 500 and stuff. And fortunately, I prefer we can win and win the series and tied to be at 500 and stuff. But I don't know and stuff. It's like I get, like, the Rangers are up there with us, and we have a better record over them and stuff. It's just no matter of fact of who's pitching, who comes on top and stuff. But yeah, it's just we gotta do a lot better and stuff. And the offense is just not showing that much in a way. Like, I get Vargas went 2 for 4. Carroll got base hit. Ryan Walshman also got base hit. Like, those are the only people basically got a base hit. Like, I get there's a couple walks here and there and stuff, and even at the end and stuff, we had a chance. But we don't want to have that chance enough. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a comeback and staying alive, all these typical things and stuff, but it's just you're giving a lot of risk away and stuff, and like it'll again, it's a phenomenal way enough to win a game for a comeback, but it's so hard to come back and try to win the game and stuff, where it would be better enough to be much closer and trying to win the game and stuff, where enough of trying to get the most runs of it and enough, because we were down 7-1 in the 9th inning, and we only got 3 more runs after that and still lost the game. So it's just we cannot have that opportunity for our opponent teams to win over us like that and stuff, so yeah, it's tough. Look at me. I'm trying to put Gallen in the bullpen and put Brandon Pfaadt back in the starting pitching. How crazy I am. Like, you gotta change enough of the team of what is best for the team. That is just where I'm going from and stuff. Gallen's gonna, it's so weird because, like, even from last year, I think, a lot of people were saying enough of, like, oh, maybe Gallen is going to basically get traded at the trade deadline from last year and stuff. He was going to be free agency and stuff. The crazy thing is, what happened, this is the typical thing, like, you gotta have this attitude into the team in a way and stuff, because fortunately enough, we gave an offer to Gallen in a way of enough. We gave him an offer, and he said no. And so the way his attitude at this time, so he needs to clean that up right now, because fortunately enough, nobody doesn't want him because he's trash at this time and stuff. Like, I'm saying it right now in a way enough. With the way he's performing, he is doing trash numbers in a way. Like, it's hard to say that because Gallen's my boy, but it's just like you gotta understand enough of nobody doesn't want you anymore and stuff, because you're not performing the way you are before when you were on the Marlins and beginning of the Diamondbacks time. Like, you came up as an ace. If you're the ace, keep going up, because you're going downhill at this time and stuff, because somebody's going to replace you at some point and stuff. Maybe Kelly is going to do that. Who knows? And stuff, I'm feeling when Burns kind of come back, he's going to be the ace. And if that is the true thing about that, not putting Burns in the back of the rotation, no, put him in the first. That's what I want, because Burns is the better pitcher from pretty much everybody. Doesn't mean enough he was injured. No. This person, you see enough of anyone won a NL Cy Young before? None of them. None of the starting rosters, pitching-wise, on the Diamondbacks never won that. Even Gallen didn't win that. Okay? Burns is the better pitcher. More All-Stars, more wins, much better player, and he was an ace on the Brewers, he was an ace on the Orioles, and he is going to be the ace on this team, and I guaranteed of that. And Lovello needs to respect that way and put that in and stuff. If Burns is going to come back in after the All-Star break and stuff. So, like, I'm looking for that, but fortunately enough, again, just don't put him in just the rotation because he's in the rotation. I know he's going to be in the rotation, but don't put him in in the middle or the end. No, put him at first. Put him at first over Gallen. If Gallen's still going to be our first ace pitcher and stuff, I guaranteed enough. If that's what I would do, I want Ravello to do the same thing. And then fortunately enough for us, Gallen has nowhere to go and stuff. And then fortunately enough, he came back with the same offer we gave him, and he accepted that. And he's now like our still ace pitcher, and he's just not performing that. He's not performing that. Just not at all. Not the ace we're looking for. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry, my everywhere. Totally understand that. That's just, my feeling of this team not performing so well. So that's pretty much of that. Hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for watching.